Good evening, guys. Welcome back, and let's start. But before we proceed into the concept, we'll wait for 5 minutes, and if anybody is joining, then we can proceed at 7:05 p.m. Okay. So hold on. And is there any new joinees over here? Any new joinees? Before I start the session, and whoever are there and whoever are interested in joining to the sessions, I just want to say you one thing. Those who has given your phone numbers, just give the proper numbers. So we are trying to contact you, but unfortunately, some of your contacts are invalid contacts. I don't want to name them. I have the list of contacts which are invalid, but still, I'm saying you one thing. So if you have anything like, see, if you really want to join the sessions, please provide your contacts properly so that our team will contact you, and it is very easy for us to contact and whatever the videos you want, or else if you have any problems, those can be overcome over here. Okay. Chalo. So let's start the next session. What we have to discuss today. So in the previous session, we have a just introduction about what is what, and what we are going to learn, like Docker, Kubernetes, and about the trainer and all the things. But in this session, as per the request by so many of my trainees, so I want to introduce you to the concept called as AWS. But here, don't think I am going to tell you about the total AWS. Why? Because it is a separate topic which you are going to cover, which it will take around 45 days to complete. So it is only the basics which I am providing right now. Why? Because whatever the concepts that we are going through, all these concepts will be AWS cloud itself. So whatever the servers, or else if I want to configure EKS and EC2 instances, whatever the EC2 instances where we are creating the Kubernetes cluster or Docker, everything will be related to these concepts. So that is the reason I want to discuss about the AWS, and today it will be totally about the AWS sessions only. And tomorrow we'll start the Docker concept. But here, who doesn't have the AWS account? I don't know how many people are having the AWS account. Okay, that's okay. So whoever are from the other, so I don't have any problem. But still, I think if at all, if the number is not able to, we are unable to details to the WhatsApp. Don't worry about that. But coming back to the session over here. So who doesn't have the AWS account? Can you please share your emails, or else you just share your details? I don't have, or just send me a message that I don't have the AWS account. So and later on we will go with the configuration. So I cannot create my own AWS account. Why? Because I already have some 10 AWS accounts which I am using. Now it's your turn to give your details, and we can create an AWS account, and that you can use for your practice purpose. So who doesn't have AWS account? See, again, I don't want to waste that time. Why? Because see, you can create your own AWS account by looking into the small YouTube videos also. So that is not a challenge for you. Okay, but I have promised you that I am going to show you how you can create the AWS account. Just I will show you of that. So the point is, first of all, you need to have a debit card, which is of either it might be Visa or MasterCards, but RuPay won't work. Okay, is work, that is your luck. I cannot say that, but RuPay won't work for creating the AWS account. If you have any debit card with Visa or Master, that will work out. Okay, so yes, who is going to create that? who wants to create the AWS account?
Yeah, I don't have an AWS account. I need to create it.
You need to create it. Okay. So I will show you just the steps how you can log in or else how you can go into this AWS account. So see here, amazon.com. This is the URL which you have to go and /free. If you give this URL, automatically you will be redirected to the AWS website. Okay. So I will share you the link over here. I'm sharing the link in the WhatsApp. Sorry, not in the WhatsApp, in the chat box. Please try to access that.
Okay.
I shared you there. So you will be redirected to this website. Here you can see there is an option called as create free account. Okay. So what I will do here is I will provide the access for you your screen so that everyone can access or else everyone can see the screen and we will do the steps. Okay. So does the URL open for you?
Yeah, I'm trying to open it.
Okay.
1 second. Just give me one. So my system seems to be slow. So
Okay.
if anyone can.
So is there anyone who wants this access? Guys. So nobody, so everyone is having the AWS account. So I can go further, right? Fine. I will just show you how. Okay, good. So if everyone is having the AWS accounts, that is good. But I just want to show you who doesn't have. I will just go. Okay. So if you click on this create free account, it will ask you some basic things. Okay. See that. So it will ask you for your full name and all the things. Okay. Hold on. I think right now I have logged into this console. So just give me a second. Hold on. You can see. Of course, some people might think that this is the basic thing. I can understand that, but still there are the people who doesn't know how to create that. For their sake, I'm saying this. So I can go for create a new AWS account. And here you have to fill up your details. And this is for my personal usage. You have to provide the root email address. I will just give you a small email address. Then gmail.com. This is already there, but still. And account name will be Chaitanya. So if you click on this, verify the email address, I will get a verification code. You have to give it over here. So later on, it will ask you for the payment confirmation. You have to confirm our password, the addresses and all the things it will provide you. And after that, what you have to do here is you have to go for the payment protection. So you can do the payment. Just 2 rupees will be cut from your debit card, from your bank account. A 2 rupees amount will be debited. And later on, like which type of support you want, whether you want the basic support or else you want the what I can say development support, or else you want the industry support, or else company support. There are 3 supports that are available for you. So select the no cost for you. Okay, so don't forget to do that. But anyways, you can check out these configurations, or else you can create the AWS account just by looking into the small YouTube videos also that is available there. Okay, as you have created the AWS account. Now I am not saying that you have created that, but still just create that. If you have any trouble, tomorrow we will check out that. Okay, but as of now, what I will be doing here is, this is my AWS console, whichever you are seeing here. This is my AWS console. Here you will be having multiple things. So this is the home page icon. And if you see here, there are so many services. The first and foremost thing what you need to understand whenever you are working with the AWS is that So in AWS, what we are going to do here is we are going to, for creating or else for creating any instance or installing any instance, especially creating the EC2 instance, we require a specialized network called as VPC. The full form of VPC is Virtual Private Cloud. Virtual Private Cloud. Okay, so this is the full form of VPC, which means that now what is meant by cloud and what is the private cloud and what is virtual private cloud. Now let us decode this. What we are having now, we are having cloud, private cloud and virtual private cloud. Now, can anybody say what is meant by cloud? Any idea about the cloud? What is meant by cloud? Yes, any answers? What is meant by cloud?
A memory storage which is online, like it stores on the internet.
Storage. Okay, very good. Any another answers? What is meant by cloud? Of course, you are working with the Kubernetes and Docker. Still, you need to understand about the cloud. That is the reason I am asking you this question. What is meant by
cloud computing? It's like powerful computer that storage located on the internet instead of your own computer server. Okay,
very good. So computing over the internet. This is the generic concept which everyone will provide this, but the point everyone will think of these two terms only. One is storage and the other one is computing. Absolutely, cloud is also going to provide the same. Okay, cloud is an infrastructure provider or else infrastructure development tool which we are using to store our data or else to get the computing resources or the computing resources that we want. So either it might be servers or if you want to create any n number of servers, you can create in the cloud. But the point is we are not going to access the cloud by sitting besides the cloud. Okay, cloud, what is this cloud? Cloud means the resources are accessed by or also accessed through over the internet. What you are going to do, you are going to access the resources. Okay, what are the resources that the cloud will provide? Cloud will provide the EC2 instances. If at all, if I am talking about Amazon, in Amazon, it is called as EC2. In Azure, those are in general. So those are the virtual servers. Okay, so whatever we are working out with the AWS or else whatever Azure that we are working, so those are the virtual servers. So this is one of the resource. And as well as cloud will provide the databases, cloud will provide the storage, security, lot of things are there. You can do the machine learning, automation, everything can be done through the cloud. Okay, so for a company, what is the basic necessity? If at all, if there is a IT company is there. IT means information technology, as you all know about this. What IT will especially do, there are the companies called as IT service companies. So can anybody say what is this service company? What is the main motto of service company? What this service company will do?
Which provides services like.
So a service company, the IT service company will provide the services to the client. Okay, so if, for example, there are banks. Okay, for example, there are banks. So inside in the banks, nobody know about what is a how this application will be developed or managers or the bank employees. They know about the accounting, auditing, accounts and audits. They know about that, but they don't know about this Java language or else Python language and classes and all the things. They don't know about that, how to develop the application and all the things. Now, what happens? This banking people, the bank reach out to an IT service company. Okay. The banking people, especially the banking people, will reach out to an IT service company and they will ask for the services. Services in the sense they want the application and as well as just that application should be created in the service company servers. So here what happens, these bank people will approach to the company, and they want their application to be deployed on the company servers itself. Okay, so inside the servers, you will run the application, and this application will be provided for customers. So from our server, the application will be provided for the end customers, nothing but you or else we. So the client. So for example, I am having a bank account in ICICI. So what I will do, I will type ICICI bank.com. So then I will be redirected to that application. So this application, the application that you are seeing, this application will be there in the IT service company server. So what is the main motto of IT service company? To provide the services to the clients. So here the point why we are discussing about this. So the servers. So at this company, you will have the servers. How many servers will be there? There will be multiple servers. As I have worked for this ICICI Bank, so I know that. So this login page will have around 6 servers, and inside that login page, once you have logged in, you will get an application, and that are some 12 servers. So totally there are so many huge number of servers will be there. So those resources all comes under. Now, if you can see, those are all the company resources. Okay, company resources like servers and applications and what else, databases. These are all comes under the company resources. Now, what is my requirement? So if at all, if I am a startup company, I'm going to start a company. So I don't have very huge capital to start the company. So it's just a normal company which I'm starting. So I cannot invest huge amount on the resources. So what I have to do, I need to go for another option. Is there any option? Yes. Then I can go for the cloud computing. Here I can go for the cloud. So once I go into the cloud, I can get my resources, I can get my application, get my databases. So everything is available on the cloud. So what will be happening here? The investment charges will be reduced. As I go to the cloud, the investment charges will be reduced when you compare to the on-premises environment. On-premises environment in the sense, if you are creating the servers and if you are configuring, everything is called as an on-premises environment. So to overcome this on-premises environment, going into the cloud. Okay, to overcome this cloud. Now, as we are going into the cloud, our resources will be available in the cloud. So not only my resource, if I have an account, I can have my resource in the cloud. Now the point is, now if I am having an AWS account, for example, I am having this AWS account. Inside this AWS account, I can tie up with multiple companies. So for example, there is a company called, and there is a company called as Uber. So these two are the competitors in the transportation industry. Now the point is, this Ola and this Uber, whatever the two companies are there, they are coordinating with me and they want their servers to be created in this account itself. Two companies want their servers to be installed in the same account. So in the same cloud, in the same AWS cloud, there will be a security for these two companies? Can I provide that? Can I assure that there will be security between these two companies? Can you say me that? Are you able to understand what I'm asking?
Yeah, we can provide the security for two different companies in the same AWS platform.
We will come to that, but as of now, see, so to provide that security, what we are doing here is we are going with the virtual private cloud. So private cloud, the meaning of private cloud in the sense, individual cloud, individual company cloud. So here Ola will have its own private cloud and Uber will have its own private cloud. So the resources which are created virtual private cloud will not communicate with each other by defaultly. Try to understand. The resources whichever are created in the VPC cannot be communicated by default. I am saying that default, which means that we can make the configuration so that they can communicate with each other. Okay. So everyone has joined just today itself, guys. Okay. So This is the basic first class which I'm introducing. So everyone are the beginners only. Anyways, coming back to this. So resources whichever are created in the VPC cannot communicate with each other. So where is this VPC available for us? In the AWS itself. If you go to the AWS here, in AWS, if you go to the services, in service, you will have the network and content delivery. You will have, sir, why we need to learn this VPC? Why we need to learn this EC2 instances? Because we run our Kubernetes cluster in the EC2 instance. So the relationship will be like this. If you want to create a cluster, KATS cluster or else Docker or Kubernetes cluster, everything we will be doing in the EC2 instances only. So this Docker and Kubernetes application are dependencies, are having the dependencies of EC2 instances. If you want to create an EC2 instance, definitely you need to have a VPC. So without VPC, cannot to instance, without EC2 instance, we cannot run the Docker and Kubernetes. Of course, if you are having the virtualization in your laptop, you can do that, but I am not suggesting you to go for the virtualization. We are going with the cloud computing only. Am I clear with this? Anything, guys? Am I clear?
What is EC2? Is it a server?
It's a server. It's a virtual machine. Okay. That is an EC2 and how we can configure. Okay. Yeah. So any questions, guys?
So where does this cloud store, like on what, on the internet?
So these are all, so you are seeing here. So that is provided by certain companies, like Amazon is providing AWS for us, Azure is providing Microsoft for us, and these clouds are accessed over the internet. Okay. Yes. Any questions, guys?
I just joined today right now. So I want to ask regarding this, the course you are providing Dockers and Kubernetes. So in this, after completing this course, what kind of we can put this experience in our resume, right?
That we will write about this in the end of the session. Don't worry. I will clarify your doubts. First of all, we are in this context. Let us complete this, and I will come back to your doubt. Okay.
Yeah.
Regarding the experience and all things. Fine. Any another questions, guys, regarding this concept? Okay, fine. Let us go back, and now what happens here is, so we are going to create a virtual private cloud. Now, what is this virtual private cloud? It is the own cloud that, or else it is a cloud that is given to a particular company or else particular individual. Try to understand. Don't get deviated from this. VPC cloud is the private cloud which is assigned to a company. Try to understand. That is more than enough. Apart from that, you don't need anything in deep. Okay. So now what I will do, I will create a virtual private cloud. So here you need to have a basic knowledge on networking. If you don't have also, don't worry. As it is, just follow me. Okay. So if you want to have the networking knowledge and if you really want to know about AWS, see, within a week or else after Dashara, we are going to start a new AWS session in the morning. They'll cover the topics. Don't worry about that. But still, what is my requirement here? Just I want to create a VPC. And you need to provide the VPC name. So I will provide like KATS or else Docker KATS VPC. This is the name of the VPC which I am creating. Now here you need to mention the CIDR. So what is this CIDR? CIDR. We will call it as CIDR. The full form is classless interdomain, which you will not understand. If you are a networking guy, you can have the assumption for this, or else you can have the clarity for this. This entire concept will cover under the networking thing. Okay. So don't get very involved into this concept of creating VPC. We are into the Docker and Kubernetes. So we will learn Docker and Kubernetes. Basic thing I am telling you. So if you have knowledge on networking, just you can proceed further with the networking thing. But if you don't have knowledge on networking, just copy whatever I am doing. Okay. So now what I will do here is I will provide some 16 or else 170. Yeah, let me go with 172.16.0.0/16 and create VPC. So now the VPC is created, which means that we have an environment. We have our own company. Try to assume that this is my environment which is created. Okay. So this is called as a VPC, virtual private cloud, which I have created just now. And the name of the cloud is docker_KTS_VPC. Just assume that this is your company. Okay. So inside you will have multiple teams. Okay, you will have multiple teams like development team, like what I can say, testing team, like production team, and there will be DevOps team. Like that, there will be several teams. In the same manner, here I am having a VPC. Now, why we will segregate all these members into multiple teams? For example, there is an XYZ company. Inside the XYZ company, there are 200 employees are available. So what is the necessity for me to segregate these employees? I can call all 200 into one company, right? So why we are dividing them into, this is the development team, this is the testing team. What is the, yes? Anybody? Can you tell me why we are dividing this? It's very simple, for our understanding, for our easy understanding, or else for our what I can say, segregation purpose or else differentiation, we are doing that. In the same manner, here we are having a VPC, virtual private cloud environment. Try to understand this. Now inside your company, you will have some 100 or 1,000 laptops and some 100 or 200 servers are there. Suppose in your company, there are 200 servers are there. So is it possible for you to maintain those 200 servers? So if at all, if there are some 200 servers are there, now what you need to do, you need to differentiate them. These servers belongs to development team. These servers belongs to what I can say, testing team. These servers belongs to some UAT, and these servers belongs to production. Segregate those servers. In the same manner, what I am going to do here is, for this VPC, I am going to divide this VPC into small subnets, small networks. So if you think here, this is the very big network, I will be dividing this VPC into networks. Those are called as subnets. So inside the VPC, what we are doing, we are creating some subnets. Okay, this is subnet 1, subnet 2, and subnet 3. These are the 3 subnets, or else you can create n number of subnets. Network you have provided, you can divide the subnets. But as of now, I am creating 3 subnets. So how we can create the subnets? Click on here. So here you can see this is your VPC. And if you come down here, you are having subnets. So I want to create a subnet, and under Docker, I want to create the subnet. So now what is the subnet name? The subnet name is Docker underscore KTS underscore subnet 1. Okay, so these are all the AWS terminologies, guys, available on prior knowledge on AWS. That's good. So if you don't have the knowledge, just follow me. Okay, so the CIDR block which I'm going to provide here is 172.16.1.0/24. Okay, create a subnet. Now one subnet is created. If you want to subnet also, you can create. So create another subnet in the same VPC, and the subnet name is Docker underscore KTS underscore subnet 2 US East 1B 172.16.2.0/16. So slash. Now create another subnet. 2 subnets are more than enough for me. So I have created 2 subnets here. Now what I will do here is, as you can see here, I have created 2 subnets. That's more than enough for me. Okay, so inside the VPC, I created 2. Now, what is the name of this subnet? Docker underscore KTS underscore 1, and this one is subnet 2. Good. So now, after creating this subnet, somebody who is from the outside want to access the servers. So if I want to create the servers created, so there is a server inside this subnet. For example, try to assume that there is a server inside this subnet. So if anybody from the outside want to access the subnet, how they will access? Simply, if I have to say, for example, there is a person in a shopping mall. Okay, you went to a shopping mall, you and your friend went to the shopping mall. What happened here? You want to park your car or bike in the cellar, and your friend went into the shopping mall. Directly, he went into the shopping mall and he is doing some shopping. Now, if you want to reach to your friend, what you will do, you don't know about the shopping mall. You are very new to that particular area and to particular shopping mall, you are very new. Now, what you will do, how you will reach to your friend? Am I making sense for you? So are you able to understand what I'm asking?
Yes, call him.
You will call your friend and you will ask the route. Location or route. Okay. So how I have to come to that particular location? In the same manner, here there is a server, and there are some users who are trying to access this server. So for them, what I have to do here is I need to create a route. Okay, I need to create a route. Here by default you will have the routing table. But first and foremost thing is, first of all you need to enter into the what I can say, shopping mall. If you want to enter into the shopping mall, or else if you want to enter, if any data wants to enter into this VPC from any outside, if any data has to enter into the VPC, or else if any data from this VPC, from this server has to go out. See, data going out and data coming in is nothing but, see here, what I am trying to do, I want to communicate with Google. So if I try to communicate, I am sending a call to the Google. So I am getting the response, which means that from my laptop, the request is going outside. Okay, and it is coming from the response is coming from the outside into my laptop. In the same manner, what is happening, if any request that has to reach to your server, or else the request from the server has to reach outside, so then what we need to have here, we need to have a opening that is called as a gateway. So in the VPC, we need to have a gateway so that the data going out, data will be coming inside. It is simple. So for example, there is you are living in a room or else in your home. If nobody opens the gate, how you will be entering into the room? If nobody is opening the gate, how you will go outside of your room? To go outside, also the data has to come inside of your server. You need to have a gateway. So I'm going to create a gateway, that is the internet gateway. Create internet gateway. Docker underscore create internet gateway, and I'm going to attach it to the VPC. Okay, good. So which means that here we have created the gateway, and this gateway is attached to your VPC. Whatever the so-called VPC we have created, to that VPC we are connecting this. Good. So once the gateway is connected, then what we have to do? So this is how you have connected the gateway. Now the point is, now there is a gateway and we don't know the route. So we have to provide the route. Where we have to provide the route? Go to the routing table or route table. In the route, there are so many routing tables that are available over here. Now go to your VPC. Copy your VPC ID. For every VPC, you will have a VPC ID. Copy this. Go back to your routing table. Provide the VPC ID over here. And this is the route table which will be specifying. So by default, what is there? So if you go to the roots, what is there? For my server, I am saying whatever the servers that are there inside the VPC, I am saying that. So you will be having the internal connection, which means that if I create one more server over here, one or more servers over here, all the servers will have the communication with each other. So that is what the first root saying. So what it is saying, so internally, if you go over here, internally, whatever the local in the sense, internal VPC, inside the VPC, each and every server will communicate with each other. That is the meaning of this sentence. So the destination is 172.16.0.0/16 in the sense, this is my VPC network. So inside the VPC, each and everything will communicate. Each and every server will communicate with each other. Now, what is my requirement here? My requirement is different. My requirement is this server, whatever the server that I have created inside this VPC, it has to communicate with the clients who are there in the internet. So if it has to communicate with the clients that are there inside the internet, now what I have to do here is I need to provide the root. What is the root? Go to the edit roots. Going to add a root. Now what is the root? 0.0.0.0/0. The meaning is 000 in the sense, I don't know. This is the meaning of internet. If my server has to communicate, the destination is internet. So if my server has to communicate with the clients who are residing on the internet. Now, of course, I am working on my laptop, but still my laptop is connected to the internet, which means that I am on the internet. So if this server has to communicate with the clients who are there on the internet, then what should be done here? So 0.0.0, which means that internet, then the data transfer must happen through the internet gateway. Select the internet gateway. What is the internet gateway? This is the one. Select it. So here, what is happening? So the data from my server will be going outside through the internet gateway, and the client who are requesting the data, the approach will be into my internet gateway, and from my internet gateway, the data will be reached to my server. So this is the meaning of this particular route. Okay, and you can save it. So is it clear for you? Any questions right now? Understood about what we are doing? Any questions? Questions, guys?
So you are showing to how we are creating VPC and how to connect that we are trying to achieve.
Yes, exactly. I am showing you the same. Why? Because tomorrow onwards you have to work on the cloud only. So that's the reason. Yes. Any questions here, guys?
As we create AWS account, by default we get an VPC. So by default, this routing table and internet gateway, we are
Everything will
direct.
be available by default for you. If you are going with the default VPC, there will be there. But I don't suggest you to go with the default VPC if you want. Okay. Create your own VPC. Why you need to go with the default one? If you want, you can go with that. I am not stating you that you don't need to go. So whoever are having the AWS knowledge can go with the default VPC. And I don't recommend going with the default VPC. You can create your own VPC. There is an option, right? Anyways, I'm not opposing that. If you want to go with the default VPC, you can go with that. Okay, fine. Now, the final thing what we have to do here is we are having the routing table. As we have configured the routing table, the data will be going outside and the data will be coming into the server as the routing table is there. But there is a problem. The problem is, so if you go, let me explain, let me ask you a question. You are going to an airport. So when you go to an airport, whether you will be directly allowed into the flight or else there will be any checks happens. If at all, if you want to board a flight, now what happens? Whether you will be directly entered into the flight or else you will be asked for any checks. Will be there and then security checks will be there in the same manner. Here also, what is happening, if any data that wants to come into the VPC, we need to do some security checks. So I cannot allow all the data to enter into my server. I cannot allow all the connections to be happening with my server. So what I can do here is, here I can do the security. When I go to the security group over here, okay, so this is my security group. If you provide the VPC ID, you will get the security group that is associated with the VPC. If you want, you can create your own security group, but by default, what is happening when you create a VPC, with the VPC, you will have default routing table or root table, and as well as default security groups will be created. Now, if you want to customize it, you can create your own security groups also. But now I am going with the default security group only. Okay, this is the security group. So simply docker_SG. Now inbound rules, I will go into the inbound rules. Now, what is this inbound rules? Inbound means incoming, which is coming into the VPC, which is a dangerous traffic. So the traffic that is entering into your server is the dangerous traffic rather than the traffic that is leaving from your server. So we need to make the checks with the inbound rules. So add rule. I'm going to provide SSH access. Why? Because I want to create some Linux servers. Linux servers will be accessed over the SSH. So SSH access and from anywhere. Simply I will provide this and save the rules. Just provide this rule, or else as per this, you can provide one more thing. You can allow all traffic, but you cannot do this in the company environment. When you go to the organizations, you cannot do this. If you allow all traffic from internet, so that is a very tricky situation. You cannot do that. Okay. So you have to allow certain ports, but right now I am allowing all the traffic. As it is a demo session, I am allowing all the traffic, but you cannot do it in your company environment. So your company people, or else the pro developers, or else the security team will provide you the port numbers. Those ports only you have to open. But as of now, I am allowing all the traffic. Save rules. Now, as of now, what is happened here? We have created the. Now, once we have created the VPC, the next thing what I have to do here is, now we need to create the server. Okay, so once the VPC is created, we need to create the server. Instances are nothing but the servers. Okay, launch instance. I am going to create an instance now, so it won't take much time. It's very simple. So the instance which I am deploying here is Docker server. I will go with the Ubuntu operating system. You can go with any operating system, but I am going to tell you the Docker and Kubernetes totally on the Ubuntu operating system only. So select Ubuntu OS, and here you can select this Ubuntu server, which is a free tier eligible. And if you go down here you need to select instances. So there are so many instances. There are a number of instances are available depending upon your requirement. So this T2 micro instances will be having one virtual CPU and 1 GB of RAM. If you want more, like 2 CPU, 4 GB of RAM, or also 4 CPU, 8 GB of RAM, 16 GB of RAM, 32 GB of 28 GB of RAM. So you will have each and every instances for you. So that dependencies you need to calculate. Whatever your application dependencies are there, calculate on the application dependency. Depending on that, select the instance type. Right now, as it is a demo session, I will be going with the 1 CPU, 1 CPU, 1 GB. For T2 micro instances are more than enough for me. So key pair, what is this key pair? The very important concept is key pair. Now, I have a question for you. The question is very simple. If you want to log in into your computer, if you want to log up, what you have to do? If you want to,
Username and password.
yeah, you need to provide username and the password. So as your laptop is besides you, you can provide the username and password. But see, let me explain you a small thing. I am sitting in Hyderabad. and my servers are there in the American location. So if I transmit the username and password from Hyderabad to my servers which are created on the America location, so what happens here? A problem here, there is a problem. What is the problem? So those will be not a secure transmission. Whatever I am doing is not a secure transmission. So what I have to do in between this, there will be man in middle attacks can be happen. So to overcome this, what I will, I'm going to generate a key pair. So I'm going to create a key pair. So these key pairs, you will have a public key. You will have a public key and you will have a private key, which are encrypted one. These keys are encrypted keys, which means that what is meant by encrypted keys? What is meant by encryption? Anyone? What is meant by encryption? So converting, what is meant by encryption in the sense converting user understandable language into ciphertext format is called as encryption. For example, let me take an example for you. Okay, so today or tomorrow I am organizing a party. Okay, if I am organizing a party, what I will do, I will text some message to my friends saying that tomorrow, as it is a week, going to celebrate, so all are welcome. I am going to text that. So when I text that message, what happens here? For example, let's party. If I say this, and if I send this message, so fortunately, if my friend's wife or else if my friend's family has seen that, then automatically the party will be totally ruined. So what I have to do, I just want to send this in another format. So in the same manner, here I am going to encode it. I have encoded, see here, let's party message has been encoded in this format. So now what is this encryption? Converting the user understandable language into ciphertext format is called as encryption. So in the same manner here also, whatever the keys that are generated key or else encrypted code. So now what happens here? The public key will be with my server. The public key will be with my server. And the private key will be with the client. The private key will be with the client. Now, if I want to server, then this private key must be given to the server so that the user will be logged into the server. So what you need to understand simply, say, I will give you a small example so that you can get a clarity. Now, if you want to go outside of your home, okay, if you your home due to some reason. So now what you will do, you will leave the doors open and you will go. You won't do that, right? So what you will do, you will close the door and you will lock the door and you will have the key in your pocket. Now here, two things are there. One is key and the other one is lock. Lock is a public property. Everyone can check the lock. So somebody has a So lock can be accessible by public, but the key whichever you are having, that will be with you only. In your pocket only you will have the key. So that is the private key. So the server will have the public key and the client will have the private key. Okay, is it making sense for you? Any questions here? Guys, any questions?
No.
Okay, cool. So now what I will do here is I am going to create a pair. Let me go to the pairs, create key pair, k8s underscore key. So I want it should be in the PEM format. So select the PEM. It is very important. Don't go for the PPK. We will use the PEM format in the later on session also. So name k8s underscore key. Click create a key pair. Now what happens here? The PEM file, whatever the private key is there, the private key is downloaded into my laptop. So I am the client. So who will have the private key? The private key will be with the client. So I have the into my laptop. And here you can see there is another key, KATS key. This is the public key. So now this key we will provide it to our server. If I refresh here, see that KATS key. I am giving this public key. This is the public key, and there is KATS_key.pem which is downloaded into the client machine. Now this key file will be given to my server. Okay. Now, where I want to create the server, I want to create the server in my Docker KATS VPC. Select it. And later on, you have to select the subnet. I will be going with the subnet 1. You can select any subnet. Okay, subnet 1 or subnet 2. And provide the public IP. Now, can anybody tell me what is the difference between public IP? So just forgot about IP. Just say, tell me public and private. What is the difference between public and private?
Public, everyone can have the access, and in private, only.
Exactly. So public means over the internet, if I want to access my server, I need to have the public IP. So within the environment, if I want to communicate with the server, I can have the private IP. So public IP. So I want the public IP. Why? Because over the internet to my server. So without internet, or else without public IP, I cannot connect to my server. So I need to have the public IP. So now what I will do here is assign, enable the public IP, select an existing security group. We already created the security group for our Docker configuration for our VPC, right? So I'm going to provide that security group. Select the security group, provide the default security group, and go down and launch the instance. So I have created. Now with the help of this server, I can launch the Docker. Okay. So now what you have to do, once the server is up and running, now I can run my Docker configuration on that. So this is how the basic server can be created in the AWS. You are going to create the server. Any questions?
Sir, when you have created the key pairs, so automatically public and private key pairs, it has a public key pair is also created.
Yeah, the public key only we have provided for the server. See, whenever we are launch, go to the instances, launch instance. So here we are providing the key, right? See, look at that key pair. Here by default, what I have done, I gave the KATS key, right? This is the public key. Okay.
Okay.
And the private key is downloaded. The private key is available in my client machine. There you go. KATS_key is available. Okay.
So, I want to ask you one thing. When we are creating a EC2, so that public key is already available, or
You have to create. I have created, right?
might I have missed that?
Yeah, I have created the key pair. So click on create key pair and provide the name and select PEM format and create key pair. You might be missed that. Okay. So you have to create the key pair that will be given to your instances.
Sir,
Okay, good.
why you have chosen PEM and why not PPK?
Very good question. PEM file, we can reuse it, but PPK cannot be reusable. There are some certain locations where I have to reuse. I need to get the public key and private key. For example, let me tell you. So PPK, you can download the PPK, but in the upcoming sessions, we don't want the PPK. So we inside the PEM format, we can generate the public key also. Let me show you. If I go to the putty gen, there is a application called as Putigen, or else in the another word, if at all, if I have to tell you, that is called as Putty. So Putigen, or else in Indian accent, this is called as Putigen. If you go to the Putigen, just click on load, and if you go to the downloads, here you will have the PEM file. PEM file, automatically this public key will be generated. So this is the public key which is there already there inside the server. For sometimes what I have to do here is I need to get this public key. If I download the PPK format, I cannot generate this public key. So that is the reason I am downloading the PEM format. Is it making sense for you?
Yes.
Whoever asked that question. Okay. Okay, fine. So as now what I will do here is again. So, but the problem here is this PEM format, whatever the PEM file is there, this PEM file cannot be used with my putty. Okay, this application for this not use the PEM file. So if you want to access this server, whatever the Docker server just now we have created, if I want to access this Docker server, I need to have a application called as putty. Or else you can go with Mobi Extreme. There is another application available for you. You can go with that also. I don't have any problem. But basically, I will be going with the putty only. So for putty, you need to have .ppk. So for putty, if you want to access the server, you need to have the .ppk. But we have downloaded format. So now what I have to do here is I need to convert this .pem into .ppk. So what I will be doing here, I'll go back to my KTest. So just go to Putigen. Okay, go to Putigen, click on, select the PEM file, open, and don't click on generate. Okay, you need to click on save private key. Save private key, and I want to save it as KTest. That's more than enough for me. Save. When I save this, automatically here a particular key file will be generated. Now what you have to do here is go to your putty, or else select here putty app. Now as it is a Ubuntu server, now what is this server? This server. So the username is Ubuntu. Here you need to give the Ubuntu @ provide the IP address of the server. So where is the IP address? Either you can provide this, copy this IP address and provide it over here. So you are trying login into this server with the user Ubuntu. So how you will be login without key or else without password? So I need to provide the key. So go to SSH. See here, in the left side, you will have the SSH. Under connection, you will have the SSH. Go to authentication, select on credentials. Under credentials, you need to provide the whatever the downloaded KTest key is there. Select the KTest key, click on open, and simply click on open. See, you are now accessing the server which we have created in our AWS account. Mute yourself. You are now accessing the server which we have created in our AWS account. Now, what I can do here is to increase, go to appearance and select number of things. Okay, done. This is the server whichever we have created right now. So sudo, and you can run whatever the commands that you want to run, apt update -y, and you can install Docker also. Tomorrow I will tell you how you can install very in a simple manner, how you can install the Docker. Okay, so this is how you can create the server in AWS. Do you understand the concept here? Any questions? So I will stop here. Tomorrow we will discuss about the Docker, installation of Docker and all the things. So any questions, guys?
Sir, in the past, I asked you about this course and what kind of resume we can build up and what kind of experience we can.
Do you have knowledge on cloud computing?
Yeah, basic I have knowledge.
Not the basic. See guys, so basic things are sufficient to learn the course, but not for attending the interviews. Sorry about this, but anything, if you have the knowledge on cloud, then you can implement that. I am having knowledge on AWS, where I have gone through. If you learn AWS, I'm saying in the AWS perspective.
Okay.
I have the understanding about VPC, EC2 instances, load balancers, auto scaling groups, and then you need to provide S3 buckets, and then you have to provide the RDS configuration, DynamoDB, which means NoSQL, and all the things you have to keep in the resume. And after that, what you can provide here is, yes, you are saying something? Go on.
Yeah, I on VPC, this S3, DynamoDB, and load balancing security groups.
Okay. So you have to add all these things. Apart from that, so in the below of your resume, so you have to mention this. I have knowledge on Docker. In the Docker, I can create the images, I can create the network, Docker network, and I am having knowledge on Docker Swarm. And later on, if you go for the next one, for the orchestration tools, I am having knowledge on orchestration tool, where I can work with the Kubernetes. In Kubernetes, I know how to create the, what I can say, deployments. So it will be helpful for you to enhance your resume. I will tell you each and everything when we go into the Kubernetes. Okay,
And one
so
thing,
if
one last thing, this profile would be for specifically to DevOps or any developer also can or from testing side or
anyone can learn this course. It is not only for the administrators or else not only for the DevOps. Of course, it is more precisely for the DevOps, but everyone can do this course. And a lot of developers who are in my company, they are requesting to get trained on this K8s, Kubernetes, and Docker as we are implementing this. Okay, so developers are also willing to learn the subject. Okay, it is not only for a precise or a particular group of people. Yeah.
Yeah, mostly in the recent time, mostly many companies are expecting as a development point also you have to know and you have to basic thing of Docker Kubernetes. They are expecting that experience also.
Exactly. You need to have the basic understanding about the Docker and Kubernetes. Why? Because so whenever you are developing, so the developers are also eager to know they have to provide some what I can say dependencies and all the things. So in this perspective, also you need to have a basic understanding about Docker and Kubernetes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Any further questions, guys?
Hello.
Yes. Yes. Tell me.
So one thing in this we will cover some project regarding this is that projection.
Don't expect the projects, but guys. So if I say the projects, I will implement a certain topics only. But if I go into the core, I will explain you all the topics. You want only the topics, or else you want all the topics? That depends on you. Okay. Yes. So I will be explaining you into the core, not with the simple basics. Questions? Any other questions? Shashi Kumar. This is
Yes, Chaitanya. Yeah.
yes. Okay. So I have showed you that. Check out. Any questions, guys? That's it. And yes, the server which I have deployed, it is in the public server. It is connected to the internet gateway by default. Okay, so don't worry about this, and you will be slowly understand all the things. Now I am winding up the session. If you have any further questions right now, last 4 minutes of time, you can ask me the questions in the session. Questions? And my request from my end is, please provide your proper can contact you. Okay, So if you don't provide the proper details, and we are very sorry about that, we cannot contact you. If you are interested, at least you can say that we are interested or not, so that we can proceed further. Okay, that's it. Yes, Shrikant, you are about to ask something. Go on. Fine, guys. So have a nice day. We'll meet in the tomorrow session. Bye.
Thanks, Chaitanya.
Yes, thank you.